Welcome to my weekly spiel. Welcome to my weekly spiel. Yada yada blah blah blah. Yada yada blah blah blah. It's time for Margaret's weekly spiel. Greetings and salutations. This is Margaret Franklin of Margaret Franklin Creations, and the moderator or whatever you call it of the group People Who Actually Recover from Coronavirus. I've debated changing the title, but we're all going to survive one way or another, I hope. We're all going to get through this, and you're probably wondering why you're looking at this picture of me with a snake around my neck. It is one of my epic all-time favorite pictures ever. It was taken when the, what do they call that place, Zoo to You, was at Carrie's place, and we got to play with all kinds of cool animals. And this is the cover of my super duper whiz bang glorious gallery guest book. I had this at my art show in Bobcaygeon, but people seem to have a thing about, what do you call those things, guest books. Sometimes I'm having a little trouble coming up with the right word. My brain's feeling a bit foggy here. Getting old, I guess. Anyway, the first time I did a show in Bobcaygeon, there was a guest book. People signed it and said all kinds of nice things, but I never got to see them, even though Lorraine took the initiative of photocopying them for me and giving them to me, and those pages mysteriously disappeared. And then the second time I did an art show in Bobcaygeon, there was no sketchbook, guest book at all, so I didn't know. If I'd known that, I would have brought my own. So this time I did bring my own, but it was no ordinary guest book. It was just, I made this super duper wondrous whiz bang scrapbook with all this colorful art that showcases my previous works that have been sold or auctioned off or otherwise not there anymore. And it also showcases works in progress, but it also comes with interactive questions, which I have taken pictures of, and I'm going to share on a week-by-week basis as we participate in our group. I thought it would be a fun activity, so different from the way I felt when this show was over. And I was disgusted because I had this book on display at the gallery and no one even touched it. Nobody wrote anything in it. And I was just so disappointed that I left it in my suitcase all this time until maybe the day before yesterday. So here we go. I'm going to give you a tour of my book and show you what's in it. Welcome to a world of fantasy and fun. What? Me fish for compliments? This is another one of my epic all-time favorite pictures. That's me riding on a trout on the Missoula, Montana carousel back in my pre-purple days. And there's our table of contents. And here's the introduction with pictures of all my previous scrapbooks. You can see them all here. And the first question, what are some things on your bucket list? I've written the answer down, and I've taken a picture. I will share that in the group. And there's some pictures across the top of the page of my horses from my first quilt, and lots of space for people to write stuff. There's the first quilt, and a sort of a who's who telling you who designed each horse. And these are artifacts based on some of these creations. That's Jeanette's honeymoon horse. I made a whole bunch of nice, cute little stuffies based on it. And Jeanette's gas sign horse. I actually repainted a paper mache carousel horse, and I printed I googled all these gas station logos and decoupaged them on. And there's her gas sign horse. That's her interest. And this is second question, do you have any tattoos? That's me with one of my all-time favorite horses, paint from the Missoula, Montana carousel. I have a tattoo of him on my right ankle. Can you see it? And this is my second quilt, the peace quilt. There's Joanne. Is that her name? Yep, Joanne winning the quilt at the Carrie's Place celebration. And These are pictures from Peaceman Jim Kogelhide's students who ride his bus. I don't know, haven't heard anything about them in a long time. I heard he was running for mayor a while ago. Another question. More of these horses. More of these horses. More space. And this is the first quilt I donated to the National Carousel Association for their auction at the banquet in 2014, my True Blue quilt. I was inspired by Dutch pottery and did all these carousel animals in shades of blue. That's me and Linda Berquist, who was the highest bidder. She's also bought something else of mine, which I will show to you later. There are some True Blue horses galloping across these pages and here. And there's Linda and me again with the Carousel Whimsy quilt. These are some squares that I bought at the convention with different animals on them, and I embroidered various riders. There's Fluffy and Waddle, our special little pets. Fluffy, Jeanette has had Fluffy since she was 9 years old. I've had Waddle since 2001, riding on camels. Olive on a blue lion. There's Yoo-Hoo and Boo-Hoo, the conjoined clowns, and Ardith, and Gladys and Margot. This is my tattoo on my left shoulder of the two-headed clown. And here we have Luella and Edna riding their carousel animals. And here we have the community quilt. That's the one I auctioned off at the 2015 auction at the Carousel Convention with Trisha Dearlian. However you pronounce that last name. She's the one who bought the quilt. And these are paper mache animals based on animals I have designed. I would love to build a real carousel someday. That's my big dream. I have a dog running with a link of sausages, a little kitty cat behind the saddle, and my frog Prince in his ermine-trimmed robe and a little crown with jewels. And that's my tiger bunny and my elephant. And these are Elizabeth's animals. She was in my class in school. And these are the quilt squares I made of those horses. And Sam from the North Bay Carousel. And this is me. This is one of my favorite horses that I've designed, like the psychedelic one. It was inspired by go-go glasses, which I will show you later. That's me. And I love that horse so much I put it on a t-shirt. And when the t-shirt wore out, I put it on this navy blue top. I think I've showed that to you in a previous weekly spiel. And then there's my Tigger tattoo with another question. 3 sheep and a bunny, my first quilt featuring my cartoon characters. And it was bought by Reno and Clay Hutchings, who own the Carousel of Smiles in Idaho, I believe. I hope we get to see that next time we're out in the Spokane, Washington area. There's my animals. Luella is building a carousel horse, and Olive, Gladys, and Edna are painting it. You see she's doing the carving here, and then she's covering it with a coat of primer, just like a professional would. And there's my characters playing with balloons. My all-time favorite photo of me when I was a little kid, and the balloon bunny ears were my dad's idea. And this is my reenactment of that photo back on my 50th birthday. And here's more pictures from the quilt, and this is me riding Jingles at Disneyland. More pictures from the 3 sheep and a bunny quilt. And this is Wanda Miller. She bought the quilt at the 2017 auction when we were in California. And these are horses designed by Amy Lotto, carousel animals based on the My Little Pony series. And that's her. She's the lucky rider who got to be on the American Beauty Rose horse Stallion. More about him later on in this book. And this is my Remembering Mom and Dad page. On this quilt, there is a memorial horse to them. I explained that I sent the original drawing to the Carousel of Happiness because at the time they had an exhibit called Somewhere Else, where you give them a donation of $100 and send them a piece of art or something to add to the display. And this is a photo of us on our last Christmas together. Didn't know that Dad was going to pass away the following summer when Dave and I were on honeymoon. There he is walking me down the aisle. And how long have I been yakking away here? I'm going to have to do a two-parter here because sometimes my machine is kind of stubborn. Okay, stay tuned for part 2. Bye-bye, back soon.